Hi everyone, Lisa Haven here. Well, the crap is now literally hitting the fan in the United States of America, just like I predicted in yesterday's report. You see, Biden has gone full tyranny and dictator here in the United States of America by demanding that small businesses and corporate businesses all across America, that if they have more than 100 employees, they must force their employees to vaccinate or be subjugated to testing each and every single week. This has literally crossed the line, and many of our Republican representatives are literally revolting, and it has sparked an entire slew of threats as well as lawsuits from many in the Republican Party, specifically many of our congressional leaders. Before I get into the report, just a quick break. Apple has just announced a very controversial new security update. The tech giant has just announced that they are going to scan every single iPhone, iPad, and Apple computer that is connected to cloud for illicit material. Edward Snowden has slammed these plans, calling them disasters in the making. Nearly 100 policy and right groups have asked Apple not to go forward with this update. Apple isn't the only one that is doing this. In fact, most tech giants breach your privacy in multiple ways. This is why I strongly recommend that you have a VPN, a virtual private network. And I personally love and use Virtual Shield at hidewithlisa.com. If you want to fight back against these big tech organizations and protect your privacy, then Virtual Shield is the way to do that. You see, Virtual Shield actually adds an extra layer of protection to your online accounts. It routes a user's online activity through their virtually encrypted tunnels. It's fast, secure, and very easy to use, and there are no hidden fees. And right now, if you go to hidewithlisa.com, you can take advantage of a 30-day free trial and up to 50% off for life. All you have to do is to sign up is click on Start Now for free, then pick what plan works for you, 3 or less devices, pick Protect Yourself, or if you want to do the whole family, click Protect the Family. Then choose how many months you want it. I recommend 24 months at $250 because that is the best deal. Then pick any add-ons that you like. Virtual Shield is so easy to use, and if you want to protect your family and be safe, then sign up today before it's too late. Want more information? Go to hidewithlisa.com or check the description box below. All right, back to the broadcast. So let's dive into what Dictator Biden is now demanding of the American people. Let's start first with this article that I put out yesterday on restrictedrepublic.com. And basically, this is where I predicted all literal hell is about to break out in the United States of America, and it definitely is. By the way, if you're not on Restricted, check it out. But here we are. Let's start with this. This is dailymail.co.uk, and it's titled, "Your Refusal Has Cost Us All," says Dictator Biden, who declared war on the 80 million unvaccinated Americans in a speech ordering mandates on 2/3 of all workers here in the U.S. and insist this is not about freedom. Go to hell, Joe Biden. Excuse me, but I am pissed. President Joe Biden slammed 80 million Americans who have yet to get COVID vaccine shot, asking them what more is there to wait for. He also said, "We've been patient, but our patience is wearing thin, and your refusal," he says, "has cost us all." Those are threats. Those are very intimidating. And what Biden is doing here is literally pitting people against each other. This is not this is not unity in the United States of America. This is straight up division that he is causing. He has ended his nearly 30-minute speech with whispering his plea, get vaccinated, and Biden announced an aggressive new plan to get 100 million employees across the federal government and the private sector to be vaccinated. He actually put this order through the Labor Department. This is huge. Breitbart also had this article on it on Breitbart News. Joe Biden orders vaccine mandates. This is not about freedom, he says, or a personal choice. Really, Joe Biden? Because our Constitution really outlines for the American people that, well, my body, my choice, according to your own democratic principles. But that doesn't seem to be the case anymore. This is a decision that I believe needs to be kept between you and your doctor. But either way, this has sparked what I'm calling a Republican revolt from many in our leadership. Take a look at this here. And many are issuing superficial threats, if you will, threats of lawsuits, threats of suing the U.S. government, and they're following through with them as well. And I totally back, and I believe that the Republican Party needs to do something. But here's FoxNews.com. Republicans explode with fury over Biden vaccine mandates. Absolutely unconstitutional. Biden's new mandates affect an estimated 100 million Americans. Now, I'm about to show you a full slew. There's like 30 of them, possibly, of Republicans and congressional leaders and what they're saying in regards to this. But I also want to say this. Well, I don't think this is a full distraction because this is a very important issue and we need to put it front and center. I wonder if the timing of this was to get everybody off of thinking about Afghanistan onto something new, because he totally blew it in Afghanistan, and we're not going to let that go, but I'm not going to let this go either. But let's get in to that slew of Twitter responses that got put out there. Here's Representative Dan Crenshaw, what he says about what Biden did. He says, "Are you people trying to start a full-on revolt? Honestly, what the hell is wrong with the Democrats? Leave people the hell alone. This is insanity." Amen. Then we have Dr. Neil Dunn. "Mandates are not the answer. Getting the vaccine should be up to you and your doctor, not the federal government." Representative Lauren Boebert, "All 9 million federal employees should consult with their doctor and make a personal informed decision about taking the vaccine. Instead, Sloppy Joe says take it or else. You don't lead by corrosion. Biden has failed as a leader in every way." Amen. Robert says this is unconstitutional. "The U.S. Constitution does not give the president this type of authority. Nowhere in Article 2 of the Constitution will you find anything that even remotely gives the president this kind of power." Doug Ducey, I actually love what he had to say. He had a whole Twitter feed on this, but he says, "This is exactly the kind of big government overreach we have tried so hard to prevent here in Arizona. Now the Biden-Harris administration is hammering down on private businesses and individual freedoms in an unprecedented and dangerous way. This will never stand up in court." He goes on, "This dictatorial approach is wrong and un-American. How do we far more harm than good? How many workers will be displaced? How many kids are going to be kept out of classroom? How many businesses fined? The vaccine is and should be a choice. We must push back." And that's the governor here in Arizona. Then we also have Representative Lloyd here. "I strongly oppose Biden's authoritarian vaccine mandate on Americans and believe it is a massive government overreach." And then Christy there in North Dakota, "No, my legal team is standing by ready, thank you, to file our lawsuit the minute that Joe Biden files the unconstitutional rule. This is a gross example of federal intrusion and it will not stand." Amen. Representative Brooks here, Joe Biden mandates 100 million Americans to get vaccinated. Elections have consequences, Biden's mandate underscores how important it is for Americans to know and weigh candidates' policies when voting. I agree. Andy Biggs here in Arizona, "I will be introducing legislation to block this erroneous assault." Thank you, Representative Andy Biggs. We must fight against these forced mandates. Representative Barry Moore, "This is blatantly unconstitutional. The decision to get vaccinated lies between you and your doctor, not the government. We must fight back against medical tyranny that dangerously violates Americans' individual freedoms." And these go on, but I think it's important to continue to read what our representatives are saying because they need to do something to stop this immediately. "The president's actions have crossed a line. I believe in the vaccine, but I also believe in limited federal government. Effectively, this is a national vaccine mandate. Our federal government has never done this before, and it should not do it now." That was Representative Dusty Johnson. Representative Thomas Massey, "This is unconstitutional," talking of the rule. Then we have Representative Anthony here. "Florida must call a special session to nullify Biden's vaccine mandate. Any federal official," he even calls for the gelling here, "attempting to impose them should be arrested on the spot and prosecuted under Florida law." I can't say I disagree at all with him on that one personally. Amen, Representative. Amen. Governor Brian Kemp, "I will pursue every legal option available to the state of Georgia to stop this blatant overreach by the Biden administration." And look, and I just want to say this, there's so many of these. I'm telling you these because if you're part of wherever you're at, if you're in a business that has more than 100 employees, take heart, be ready, and listen to what our representatives are saying. Greg Abbott here. Biden's vaccine mandate is an assault on private businesses. He's already issued an executive order protecting their rights in Texas to choose whether they want to get it or not, right? And they're already working on another special session there. Then we have Governor Kay Ivey. Once again, POTUS has missed the mark. His outrageous overreach will no doubt be challenged in court, and they're going to challenge it in court. Governor Bill Lee, this is not about freedom, is a phrase that should never, ever, ever, ever come out of a president's mouth. He goes on, for a fight that requires working together, a lot of cynical and divisive edicts have come out of the White House today, pitting the vaccinated against the unvaccinated. That really breaks my heart. Where's the unity? Where's the unity? Businesses against employees. That's exactly what it does. And the federal government against the states. I think this is one of the most important points to be made here. He has pitted the vaccinated against the unvaccinated. He has pitted business, the employees against the employers, against the business leaders. And he is also pitting states against the federal government. What is he trying? What is he trying to accomplish here? Let's go on a little bit to Governor Brad Little, or Governor Little. Today's actions from Biden amount to overreach. Government should stay out of decisions involving employees and their employees as much as possible. Here we have another one from Governor Peter Ricketts. It's a violation of our freedom and the abuse of power. We have Kim Reynolds here. Biden is taking a dangerous, unprecedented step to assert the federal government into our lives, while dismissing the ability of Iowans and Americans to make healthcare decisions for themselves. It's going to worsen, by the way, and she has a really good point here. It's going to worsen their workforce shortage. This is a big fear, whether you agree with what Biden said or not. There is going to be a shortage of the workforce, a massive shortage. If all of Biden's ideals don't get challenged in the court. The American dream, this is Governor McMaster, has turned into a nightmare by Biden and radical Democrats. They have declared war on capitalism, thumbed their noses on they're using the Constitution as toilet paper. They really, really are. Governor Mike Parson, the Biden administration's announcement seeking to dictate personal freedom and private business decision is an insult to the American people. And a lot of these go on. The president has no authority, amen, to require that Americans inject themselves because of their employment at a private business. This is unconstitutional. This is ridiculously and very unenforceable, says Governor Mike Dunleavy. If there was ever a case for the 25th Amendment, now is that case. And then here's another response from Governor Hutchinson. We also have Senator Rand Paul, who I dearly love. Vaccine mandates that ignore natural immunity, ignore the science. They're unscientific and should not be adhered to, he said, or promulgated by the government. We also have Hannity weighing in. Biden vaccine mandates cancels medical freedom. We also have Mike Pence weighing in, and this is on Washington Examiner. We will get through this in freedom, Pence says, as he slams Biden's federal vaccine mandates. Then we have Gateway pundit. We have Ohio Senate candidate J.D. Vance also calling in or weighing in on it, and he's calling for massive civil disobedience in response to Joe Biden's tyrannical mandate. And I'll throw this up on the screen, but you can see this is what he issued on his site. You can read it, pause it, whatever. As a result, as you can see there, and I'm going to guesstimate here, 20 to 30 some odd congressional leaders, representatives from the Republican Party are all very irate about what's going on, and rightly so. And as a result of all of that, they are going to be filing a lawsuit. Take a look here. FoxNews.com, RNC to sue Biden administration over these vaccine mandates. Amen. And on top of that, private businesses are already gearing up as well. Breitbart, private employers prepare lawsuits against Biden's sweeping vaccine mandate. So they themselves are preparing as well. But you know what's interesting is his mandate to these employees and employees and employers here in the United States of America. Not coincidentally, they don't apply to illegal immigrants. Nope, they're fully exempt, right? Biden's vaccine mandate does not include illegal immigrants. No. But what does Biden do? What does Biden and Psaki do? Well, after saying, basically threatening 80 million people, according to all the reports, that's what he's done. I'm going after you, the unvaccinated people, just get your vaccine. Instead of talking to the reporters that were asking him questions like, is this constitutional what you're doing? Can you legally do what you do? Instead of answering any of them, both Jen Psaki and Joe Biden ran away from the podium because they know exactly what they're doing. Gateway pundit Psaki runs away when reporter asks, what happened to my body, my choice when it comes to the COVID jab? And then we have Gateway pundit Biden slams hand on podium in anger, if you will, and bolts as reporter asks if the vax mandate is constitutional. Joe Biden is one of the most leftist, radical presidents we have ever had. And he is he is a dictator. He has officially crossed the line into dictatorship. You cannot, as a president, it is unheard of to pit people against each other in your own country. It's also unheard of to force a business to do something which is clearly a direct violation of our constitutional law. Now, what's going to happen between now and the lawsuit, I don't know. But what I do know is obviously he wants a distraction from what's going on in Afghanistan. And this is just the perfect time for it now, isn't it, Joe Biden? But I'm not going to forget about Afghanistan. And I'm not going to forget about these vaccine mandates and unconstitutional actions that you're forcing on the American people. And as our leaders said, that's a choice that should be between the doctor and the person. Because you're not a doctor, Joe Biden. Anyhow, I love all of you. You could probably sense my frustration. Get to Restricted Republic. Justice Night is going to be doing a full-fledged version on there that you guys have to see. And if you want to look up what to do if you're in a situation at a business that is requiring that of you, I've got a video on Restricted Republic you need to see. Use the code 20OFF to get a discount. Anyhow, I love all of you. I'm Lisa Haven, signing out.